Hello everyone, and welcome to our workshop on film analysis. The objectives of this video tutorial and related activities include the following. Gain an understanding on the role of visual and film literacies. Understand the concept of film as a multimodal text. Examine the elements of film language. Introduce the key elements in film analysis at the macro and micro level. Focus on how the elements work together, film aesthetics, and production of meaning. Enhance critical thinking skills and film analysis skills through the analysis of a trailer. Work collaboratively with your British students partners. Enhance your linguistic, cultural, and intercultural competencies. In the 21st century, visual literacy, the ability to interpret and create visual, digital, and audio media, is, as form of literacy, as important and basic as reading and writing texts. Related to visual literacy is film literacy. Film literacy has recently been defined as the level of understanding of a film, the ability to be conscious and curious in the choice of films, the competence to critically watch a film and to analyze its content, cinematography, and technical aspects, and the ability to manipulate its language and technical resources in creative moving image production. Since the development of Web 2.0 and given the ever-increasing role of visual information in the digital age, communication is increasingly based on multimodal texts, which can be defined as texts that communicate their message using more than one semiotic mode or channel of communication. Challenging the traditional view of the dominant role of written texts in teaching and learning, Kalanitz et al. Argued that other modes of communication, such as image, gesture, music, spatial, and bodily codes, could also contribute to the multimodal ways of meaning-making and knowledge construction. They identify 7 design elements in the meaning-making process represented in Figure 1: audio, oral, written, visual, spatial, tactile, gestural, and spatial meaning. The multimodal patterns of meaning are combinations of these semiotic codes. According to Herrero and Chan, films are rich multimodal texts containing linguistic meaning, but they also contain other modes that are sometimes more difficult to illustrate or provide in the standard language lesson, such as the gestural component. Films are perfect vehicles for getting to know different types of popular culture and engaging with critical questions about the relationship between information and power, exploring socio-political issues, and visualizing intercultural relationships. Analyzing films requires understanding how film language works and how it influences us as spectators, guiding our gaze, making us think about the story and ideological content, influencing our response to the characters, and triggering feelings and emotions. It is useful to consider how film language is not universal as it filters cultural references and aesthetics, like in Bollywood cinema, Japanese cinema, etc. Based on the WJEC film specification in the UK, David Wharton and Jeremy Grant used 2 key concepts that explain how to analyze a film: macroanalysis and microanalysis. They complement each other. Macro elements are the bigger aspects of film language. The key concepts that the smaller details, the micro aspects, describe. Macro analysis includes the narrative, the star system, and representation. This concept refers to the way characters and spaces are represented in the film and the type of message that they send to the spectator. The conventions of genre are based on iconography, mise-en-scène, themes, issues, narrative and plot, characters and stars, style. Films are articulated around narratives. During your analysis, you can consider how the narrative is constructed. For example, equilibrium and disequilibrium, binary oppositions, open-close ends, etc. It is also important to consider the role of characters and their function in audience identification in narrative. Locations and settings in narrative construction play an important role. Representation refers to the ways in which films can offer different types of representation of age, gender, culture, social class, ethnicity, etc. The way in which films show stereotypes, both positive and negative, is linked to representation as well. Film representations convey different points of view and ways of seeing the world. Films always reflect certain values or ideologies, although they may not be very evident. Film production processes refers to the organization before, during, and after the film shooting. Microanalysis focuses in the analysis of the elements used to create meaning in each scene. For example, cinematography, mise-en-scène, sound and music, camera work, special effects, etc. Cinematography refers to the visual aspects of a film. Camera shots and movements can give clear indication of emotion, motive, and give audiences clues as to things that may be about to happen. The basic camera shots in terms of framing are based on the filming of human figures. They are, in order, wide shot or establishing shot, long shot, medium shot, close-up, and extreme close-up. Depending on the camera angle, the basic camera shots are: low angle shot is when the camera is pointing up and makes the subject look powerful. High angle shot is when the camera is pointing down and makes the subject look weak or small. Bird's eye view or aerial is when the camera is elevated above the action. It can be used for dramatic effect or for showing a different spatial perspective. POV, which stands for point of view, is a shot from the angle of view of the presenter or audience. During your film analysis, try to identify shots and consider how the choices made impact on the narrative. Mise-en-scène includes setting, props, staging, costume and makeup, figure expression and movement, and off-screen space. Lighting is used to create mood and atmosphere. The positioning of lights creates different effects. The world of the film, as we see it on the cinema screen, is known as the diegetic world. When we watch a film, the sound we hear can be diegetic or non-diegetic. Diegetic sound is sound that is part of the film world. Non-diegetic sound is sound that is not recognized as part of the film world. For example, voice-over and background music. Elements of sound reveal key aspects of genre to an audience. Editing is a process of manipulating and rearranging shots to tell the story, create suspense, or get a specific response from the audience. The consideration of an acting performance for analyzing a film, pay attention to the acting style, what the actor has done to play that role, including physical change, and the traits and function of the character portrayed in the film and his or her relationship with other characters. Finally, it is useful to think about the special effects. Thanks for your attention.